Morning, everybody, and welcome this morning to the regular meeting of the court of Kaufman County. Today is August the 8th, 9 o'clock, and we appreciate you being here. If any of you would like to speak to any item on the agenda, sign-in sheet there on the table as you came in. You can go ahead and complete that. We'll have an invocation, and then we'll have the pledge of allegiance to both of the flags, and then we'll hear any remarks from visitors. So if you'll join me now in saying, most gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for today. We love you, Lord, and we thank you for your amazing grace. Lord, thank you for this country we live in, and even though we're an imperfect country, we're imperfect individuals. And through your guidance and your grace, we know that you will guide us through the tough times as well as the good times we experience. Lord, thank you for those that are gathered here today to discuss the county's business. We pray for each person that is here. We pray for the folks that are here in the audience who listen, participate. Lord, we also ask your special favor and your special grace over those that day-to-day serve us and as first responders, also members of the military, any of those, Lord, that puts himself in harm's way. All of these things we ask in thy Son's name. Amen. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay, do we have anybody that wishes to address the court? Anyone signed in? No. Nobody signed in this, so we'll move right on into routine correspondence. I don't have anything to give out. The consent agenda is item A, to discuss and consider approving a request for a Farmers Electric Cooperative to construct an electrical power distribution facility across County Road 239 in Kaufman County Precinct 3. Item B is to discuss and consider approving deputation of Randy Thomas for the district clerk's office. Item C is to accept a proposed agreement with the city of Oak Ridge for road repair. Item D is to discuss and consider accepting erosion control block from APAC amount. The exact amount is unknown at this time. And then item E is to discuss and consider approving temporarily closing a section of County Road 4028 with gates with a combination lock for residents' access. I believe you have explanation in your packet on any of these. Anybody have any questions about any of them?
I want to make comment on E. We're going to table that for now.
Okay.
For public hearings, make sure that even though we have letters signed with every property owner, we have to do our property to do that.
All right, so you'd like to pull table E from that?
Yes.
Or item E from that till a later date?
Right. And on D, we don't know if we'll get anything or not, but that's just in case we do. We don't know the amount.
You've been optimistic that
I'm being hopeful.
hopefully prepared. Well, that's good.
I'm more scared to be prepared.
Well, what some of these other commissioners, they'll come get it if they find out about it before.
We wouldn't mind participating.
All right, do we have any other questions or comments? Have a motion from Commissioner Rosales to accept the consent agenda with the idea of tabling item E, and have Commissioner Shane seconds the motion. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Those opposed. Thank you very much. Item number 3. Is Ralph here this morning? I have not. Ralph wanted to be on the agenda early, and we got him on the agenda early, and so well, maybe he did. Maybe he'll drift in here. He's got some good news for us, and actually he's got 2 items. We'll just go ahead and skip over those right now, and hopefully he will. You got it. text or maybe get Tiff, Annabelle, see if she can get in touch with you. Item number 5 is to discuss and accept a resignation of Lori Floyd as our Human Resources Director and consider the appointment of Tiffany Bacon as the interim HR Director effective August 29th. And Lori, I believe you and Tiffany are both here this morning. I understand that your new employee is going to be the Texas Association of Counties. And we wish you well in that endeavor. I'm going to speak to some of the higher-ups at TAC and tell them to quit stealing our employees. But we appreciate the fine work that you've done. And I believe Tiffany's been with you now for 3 years, I believe. And so she, if the court so approves, will be serving as the interim HR Director until we finally make an appointment. So, anybody have any questions about any of that?
Appreciate what you've done.
Absolutely. Laurie started from zero, literally zero, and really has brought our HR department along to where it needs to be. And there's still work to be done, but it's much improved. There's no question about that. So I'll entertain a motion to accept. We have a motion from Commissioner Phillips. We have a second from Commissioner Rosali. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Oldfield, is Mr. Oldfield here? Okay. We'll skip on down to item number 8. Well, let's go to item number 7. I believe they're here. I know Mega's here. Discuss, consider entering into a contract with Star Transit. Michael, why don't you come to the front? And I think you visited with just about everybody about the fact that we will be needing to enter into an agreement with you that has financial ramifications for the county. Why don't you step to the microphone and tell us just briefly, if you could, what's going on with Star Transit?
We are excited about getting to be here today and the consideration that you're going to give us to be part of the budget for the county in order to keep services going in Kaufman County. They will government, of course, change their funding sources or their funding rules often. And so we were left short of about $142,000. And we are real pleased, I'm real pleased to report to you that most of the big cities in Kaufman County are working with us and put us in their budget, and it looks like we're going to be able to get most of that deficit that we thought we would have. And if you are able to help us with your share of it, we'll be in good shape for 2017 and be able to continue to serve transit services to the people of Kaufman County.
Any questions of Megan?
We've never had a contract.
We've never had a contract because we've never actually ever entered into an agreement with them. They've always just provided the service. And,
With no cost.
right. But times have changed. And Rebecca, are you?
Yeah, I thought I was about questions with Rebecca about
So, Commissioner Phillips gave me some edits, and Mike Sims went ahead and accepted those, so I just wanted to give you guys the newer version of the interlocal that we have.
Okay.
There's really only 2 main changes, and I can point you out to those.
Great,
Here's a copy of it.
I found one, I didn't pass it. The other one.
They are on, so page 2, the term changed from an automatic renewal to just being renewed yearly by the vote of the Commissioners Court. And then on page, I believe it's 5. On page 5, the initial term, the notice section, or we want to give notice of termination, went from June 30th to August 1st so that you guys can get your tax appraisal back in. And then Star Transit sends their new numbers starting June, no later than June 1st, is that right? Okay. So you'll be able to get those numbers and then take those into budget and then let them know, where the county stands by August 1st.
almost, tell them all the questions that I did bring up to her, and today, we didn't get, our appraisal amount, so we wouldn't know about that, and of course, I didn't like all that, contract gets as big as this. And I also pointed out that I wasn't very happy about paying for post time and post trip of buses. It counted in here on that. I don't know if they didn't bring that up, but I was thinking the post time and free trip of buses counted as an hourly wage at $50 or something an hour. I was thinking it was $50. So that kind of bothered me a little bit. The other big deal, of course, was at the end of 2 years, when you're physical on your buses, having here that we would start buying buses, basically, the way it kind of reads to me. But since we changed the automatic renewal, the Commissioners Court approving it, I don't know. I mean, it seems like the DA's office might be happy with it, that we won't be hung on that part. Yep. Okay. So I was just telling you what we discussed and what we left out. But other than that, I'm pretty satisfied. You know, once we got it back, we're going to bring it to Commissioner's Court every year. So this contract's not good until next Commissioner's Court.
Commissioner, what was the, I'm sorry, I apologize, what was it with the DA's office doing okay with? I shouldn't hear that.
Which part, what?
You just said something.
Yeah, I said that, y'all said it would be okay since it has to come back to Commissioner's Court over buying equipment, because they were putting in here that we're buying equipment in 2 years, basically, when theirs run out. And I wasn't ready for that.
Mike can correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
The first 2 years, I don't think they're making any asset improvement or purchasing any
Right.
capital assets. And then after that 2 years, you would notify the county if that was going to be done.
Right.
You've got 2 years where we promised you in the contract no capital. Then after that, just managing our own grants, we have to tell you by a certain day every year before your budget period, and then you get to tell us, no, I don't want to participate, or yeah, you do want to participate, whatever that decision might be.
Well, when the dates on the back fell where we couldn't tell you because we didn't know when the budget would be.
And we were happy, I didn't mention Rebecca, we're happy with that date change, that's perfectly great.
Yeah.
The other thing that Rebecca brought up, pardon me if you've already talked about it, was the issue of
Bring it back to court.
parking locations.
Parking locations.
Right, parking locations is, did you guys talk about that? No. Parking locations, that's really a holdover from one of our other contracts, and that's not a big deal to strike that provision.
Yeah.
Right,
But
because
we never had a contract with it, so we never seen it.
right, that's a little.
And, but the way it was
snuck
stated,
over from
the
our
way it
contract.
was stated in there, I said, well, the problem with it is, if for some reason your facility goes down, all of a sudden you park on county property, and it's part of that.
Right, we were happy to drop that provision.
Okay. Okay.
Any other questions?
No, but I'd just like you to explain to the court here how that we come to this, where that y'all are coming to the county now, and what us to participate and give the money, we're just going to cut that.
Well, it's been a long road. A lot of this has to do, and you know this as an alternate on our Star Transit Board, a lot of this has to do with just the changing rule book from the Federal Transit Agency over time. So we used to have access to a different set of funds. As that's changed over time, we kind of looked at the bottom line of our funding programs more and more and said, wait a minute, this doesn't quite add up anymore the way it used to be able to add up. One of the things that we make sure we tell people all the time is a lot of the work that Omega's put into the Star Transit Board over the last several years has been making sure that each of the individual jurisdictions we work on is isolated from a financial point of view. So Kaufman County projects are paid for Kaufman County, Rockwall County's paying for Rockwall, Mesquite's paying for Mesquite, Seagerville's paying for Seagerville, Ball Springs paying for Ball Springs, and so on down the line. That effort and that work of making sure that we're doing all of that accounting in a nice, clean way to make sure that that works out, that's been a huge effort over the last 2 years. We really only started on that effort to make that
clean, whenever we got told by the Regional Transportation Council and by the Texas Department of Transportation that changes in federal rules were going to shrink the amount of money available for operating funds. As that's happened, we said, okay, we don't want to have, we don't have the luxury anymore. We used to have the luxury of being able to look at Rockwall County and the Kaufman County and say, hey, the state gives us X dollar amount for operations in both counties, and we can mix and match as needed, not a big deal. Rockwall County is not considered the same sort of jurisdiction as Kaufman County is anymore. When that flexibility was removed from us, we really had to look for different ways to do our overall funding programs. So it's just been an evolution over the last few years as the FTA and Regional Transportation Council changed their programs.
Questions, you did that?
No, that was his question.
Well, I just wanted him to explain to the court
Yes.
and the public here so that they would understand how come that we're starting to fund them for the first time.
Yeah, it's kind of another one of those.
The informed public is a whole lot better than funding.
Yes, sir.
Other questions? Okay.
I guess we have to, we don't have the money.
Yes. it's-
Yeah, we've already put it in there.
Yeah.
I think so.
Other questions? Not, I'll entertain a motion to approve. A motion from Commissioner Allen and a second from Commissioner Shane. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed. Thank you very much for being here. Good luck on the program as you get started. All right, I believe Mr. Davis has arrived, and Ralph, you have two items on the agenda. We'll go back to item number 3, and I believe you have a presentation you'd like to make. This present the E.G. Young Institute of County Government Board to Commissioner Jackie Allen. So tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, good morning. Sorry I'm late. Held up office. First thing I have on the agenda, as y'all know, Extension Service runs the E.G. Young Institute of County Governments. Commissioner Allen has attended one of the sessions. This certificate for Commissioner Allen is for participating in Commissioner's Court Leadership Academy class number 6, session 3. Commissioner Allen, this is for successfully completing 16 hours of educational training during class 6, session 3. Congratulations.
Thank you. And we'll give that. Salutatory and valedictory.
I think Commissioner Allen's got this last 2. I mean, he keeps going early.
Some have to be held over.
There you go.
All right, thanks very much for that. And then item number 4 is to discuss and consider accepting the 2016 County Hog Out Management Grant.
So,
Kind of hard to get excited about hogs, but this is.
it is a little hard to get excited about having hogs, but you know, Kaufman County has got a tremendous problem with feral hogs, as does most of the state of Texas. And we have, the Commissioner's Court here has put money into this program over these past years, and we have tried to help our producers, landowners, somehow or another slow down the traffic of feral hogs, and it's a kind of a daunting task. But this past year, the Commissioner's Court approved me applying for a grant. It's called the Hog Out Grant from the Texas Department of Agriculture. We did a program back in last fall that counted for that, and or last spring we counted for that, and through the educational efforts from Extension and what the Commissioner's Court has done, I applied for that grant, and last week I got a letter that says from Texas Department of Agriculture, Commissioner Sid Miller's office, that we have received a $15,000 grant from Texas Department of Agriculture to do future feral hog educational programs. I told the judge the other day, I'm a little like that dog that catches the truck, now what am I going to do with it? I was expecting about $5,000 and we got $15,000. I talked to the Texas Department of Agriculture yesterday, and of course they would like for us to try and spend the entire $15,000. And what I propose to do with the grant money is to buy 2 of the boar buster traps that the Noble Foundation has developed, and we will put them out there in the county and let producers use them and try to catch as many feral hogs as we can. There's a good bit of paperwork with this grant that we'll have to administer and go through. I have a couple of forms that Judge, you need to sign today. I need to get back by Wednesday, and I'll be talking to the auditor about how we administer this money. It is it's a reimbursement grant. We have to spend the money up front and get reimbursed for allowable expenses. I think we don't really, our expenses are going to be pretty straightforward, so it's not going to be a daunting paperwork task.
How much is those traps?
They are $59.95 a piece.
That's $12,000.
Yeah, $12,000 of it. They actually will fit in the back of a pickup truck if you break it down small enough, but I was kind of considering buying a couple of little trailers and designating those trailers to go with them. So just hook up to them and haul them to the site. They get through with it, they can put them right back on the trailer, haul them back, and give them right back to somebody else. I do believe that once we go to advertising this, we'll have the traps out. We'll have a waiting list. There's a couple other things we do. We'll end up having to designate a little money. They'll have to put some money up front to be able to take off the traps. Texas Department of Agriculture, they kind of question me on that, but they're kind of okay with why we're using money. They're good as long as I write it up right. They're fine with that.
Well, I think there's some education material that we can use part of that money for the county. Did they already produce, we don't have to produce?
Yeah, we have plenty of educational material that's already out there, that won't be any cost to the county.
I just want to make sure we're able to use all the funds that they give us.
One of the things that I talked to them about,
And that may take it all up.
one of the things producers have talked to me about, it's a little daunting for them, is buying bait up front. You know, it has to cost quite a bit of money to buy sacks of corn and put bait out. And, they would allow us to buy bait as it's up front, and let you use that money for that. So you probably have a couple of $3,000 if you do that. The producer's going to be able to get their money back.
Yeah.
From just reselling all.
I mean, the guy down the street from me, he's been fencing his in.
Yeah.
Because they're tearing it up so bad.
Right. Well,
And he's been
the woods against his property, and
Yeah, he's
because they were tearing it up. I do, I think that eventually that'll happen. We're gonna be able to utilize most of these funds. I mean, that we
I
always
think
have.
buy the traps and the trailers.
I think that's,
Yeah.
that'll be much left. All the trailers.
Ralph, are you gonna require the citizens to put down a deposit on the trap?
Absolutely. I have it on my mind, $150 might be right. There is a subscription, a 30-day subscription that has to happen. It costs $40 a month, and it's not something you have to sign a contract with. But to be able to see the trap with the game camera, you have to do this $40 internet subscription, basically. We're going to administer that through our office. That'll be part of the money that they put in for that, and then we change passwords every time we're on the track out. We change passwords.
You know, let the landowner pay for that.
The landowner will pay for that.
Okay.
That's going to be part of that. That's going to be part of the money that they have to put up to training before they take the training. So they can learn how to put it up, break it back down, put it back on the trailer.
Because those units are over $5,000, they're gonna be entered into your inventory,
Okay.
okay? When our purchasing agent sends their person out to audit your inventory, that you're gonna have to have that where that they can see it.
Right, I'll make sure that they're on the site, or I can bring them to the, to your office or whatever.
Is that
so they put their eyes on it.
I bet the purchasing agent would be willing to go out and field.
Sure, why not?
You want to see the hogs.
You never know where they're gonna be though. I mean, you can get down to the King Street bottom and be kind of far away from the world.
Do you have an engraver?
No.
I think you probably need to invest in one, because there's no way you can barcode a piece of equipment.
No, not like that.
Probably engrave it, so that it's
Right.
marked as county.
It's pretty hard to engrave all the panels and everything.
Yeah.
Just get one of those guys that wells some numbers on it.
Yeah.
Can't be taken off that way.
One
That'd be a
other
good
question.
idea.
Yes.
Do you think we might ought to get the landlord to sign a release that, us from any kind of,
Absolutely, I actually have, we do in our office now, even for like soil purchase or something like that, they have to sign a inventory thing that they check this thing out, and they're responsible financially for
and the release is called the county for any issue?
So you're only
Talking
gonna,
about liability.
Oh, you're talking about liability?
yeah, you're only gonna sign it to an actual landowner, though, right?
That's exactly right.
I mean, Bill Blow can't turn it down.
No, he had,
I've got some land there, though.
I have to know exactly where it's gonna be. I'm not gonna let it out without that. And what you were talking about, because it's a 5,000, over 5,000, TDA requires us to do an extra form, for that also. It's different, it's buy something under 5,000 or over 5,000.
We probably need to, DA to draw some kind of paper for liability releases.
Okay.
I guess we check with the lorry and tax, and they can insure or something like that too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that may be right.
Thanks, so.
We have to buy this from a vendor, our closest vendor in Paris, Texas. Big country, they have 3 of these racks in stock. So we'll be spending money at least in the state, the trailers, I'm going to buy within Kaufman County.
After we okay this today, you can purchase those immediately and then apply for
As
this.
soon as the judge signs his paper, we'll get that to them. They'll,
All right, we have a motion on the table from Commissioner Shane, do I have a second? Commissioner Allen seconds, any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed. Thank you very much for taking your ready meeting, and, we can give it to Angie, we'll give it to them, I'll get it
I'll
to
bring it
you.
to you today.
Okay, all right.
We have to make sure you go through purchasing
Okay.
to get those.
I was gonna say, do we need to talk to you about setting this up?
Yeah, we'll have to set up a line and everything.
One of the things I asked Ralph to do, maybe when it cools down a little bit, if we have one, is set up a demo out here in the parking lot, you know.
Yeah.
We might have a few people might want to put it under there, you know, just see if it works, but.
Well, Joshua Gascamp, the guy that actually invented this thing, is going to come do the training.
Good. I think it'd be interesting for people to see how neat it really is.
Is it gonna open up gates?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I hope to do this in October.
Thank you, Ray. All right, the next item is item number 6, Mr. Oldfield to present and consider accepting, I'll give it out, treasurer's quarterly report ending June 30th. This is one that we mistakenly left off agenda last time, so Oldfield.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Court. The quarterly report is for April 1st, 2016 through June 30th, 2016. It has been certified by our county auditor. Thank you. The general fund had a beginning balance of $15,345,548.10. We had receipts of $3,414,294.63. Disbursements of $8,705,113.01 for an ending opening balance of $10,054,729.72. So that's $10 million with 3 months to go.
Good.
And at the end of June, reiterate, we're now in mid-August. The road bond at the end of June, we still had $10 million of the initial road bond issue on hand. I believe that's down right at $8 million now. And for the quarter, I think it's important to note that our total interest income was $30,825.30 from the depository contract with American National Bank. Is there any questions?
Anybody have any questions?
Will we have enough money to make it to the end?
Absolutely. Because nobody's going to spend anything they don't have to spend or that there's not budget. So budget says we got the money.
Okay. Have a motion from Commissioner Allen, do I have a second? Second from Commissioner Phillips. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Those opposed. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All righty, item number, getting back on track now, item number 8, I believe, is to discuss, consider approving the resolution supporting replacement by the Texas Department of Transportation of an off-system bridge located on County Road 4031B at a tributary of Kings Creek, and agreeing to provide the local match, which would be an in-kind local match. Commissioner Allen, I believe that was yours.
Yes, that's mine, and make a motion we.
We have a motion from Commissioner Allen, we have a second. Second. Commissioner Shane, anybody have any questions about that? All in favor say aye. Those opposed.
We were scheduled to have a couple more bridges done.
We did 2 or 3 when we did this.
Yeah, well, they okay. Yeah. Nothing's ever happened. I wonder what we do, or do we need to do anything to
No, they go
put
in
that
order.
in?
When they get it ready to do, they send me the papers and then I'll send them to you or whoever to get it approved. Yes, and they pick the order that they're doing. So,
We'll make sure we wasn't disappointed.
Yeah.
no.
Okay.
All righty, item number 9 is to discuss, consider approving utility reimbursement payments to the city of Kaufman in association with the State Highway 34 bypass project in the amount $388,412.67 with the retained amount to be paid upon satisfactory final audit. And that is,
John, please do. You want to go?
pardon?
I saw John post the bridge.
Well, we have trouble keeping people in here. Whether John is out there or not, finding we'll get him to come back in. By the way, just so everybody knows, this Friday at 9 o'clock out on 1388 past the high school and the library on the right, there's going to be a ribbon cutting at 9 a.m. And you should have all received an invitation, I think, by now. So we'll need to remember to post there as a district commissioner will be attending. It won't last long, I don't think, so it's because of the heat.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be opening from the, comes
South.
together, south to 175.
Right.
On this,
Right, and there'll just be one ribbon cutting, from what I understand. They're not gonna do a separate one for the, but they're coming along pretty good on the south. I mean, it's all right. Anyway, this, I'm not sure, John, where he may be, but this is another payment that we have used, that ITS has reviewed, and contractor and folks are waiting their money.
I do have a comment tonight, to make you aware of. That was a $6 million line item, and we have spent $5,789,453.78. There's only $210,546.22 in that line item. There's not enough to cover the $388,000. We have emailed them and told them that, and we have never received a response.
Okay.
So there's going to have to be a line item and transfer from something else to fix this.
That was gonna be my question.
Yeah.
I'll just look at it.
Well, normally he's, yeah. I guess we could table it, we're gonna have a meeting on Monday. We could perhaps table it until that time. Yeah, I didn't see John, but y'all.
I seen him earlier, but I can't find him out there.
To me, they're kind of like a, you know, an addendum to the actual agreement or something, and I haven't seen anything come through, so I'm not sure.
Y'all got this one. Maybe out on the cell phone. Tell you what, while we're waiting on John, let's go ahead and do the, item number 10. We'll just hold up on item number 9. We'll hear from our fire marshal concerning the possible implementation of a countywide, burn ban.
More commissioners, it's hot and dry, just get it dry. I presented each one this morning, a little chart there indicating where we stand as of yesterday. We haven't got today's numbers. We're at an average county average of 608 right now. The Texas Forest Service applies a numerical value of 575 as an indicator to begin consideration of burn ban. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a burn ban when it hits that number. It goes in conjunction with the numbers and severity of fires that the county fire departments are having, which are on increases. And provided a 2-week forecast provided by the Texas National Forest Service. And we're looking at getting up into the 700 range, which is the last range that you'll see by the charts. 800 being the maximum. And down at the bottom, it's got a 14-day trend of what the past 14 days what we've had. Since our last rings, the last week of July, we've had an average of 7 or 8 points a day increase since that time. And the rains are very, very temporary.
What's the 14-day forecast?
14-day forecast would be an average of 682 for the county, being your second graph.
Not the temperature-wise, but I mean, rain temperature.
Temperature-wise, it's going to be in the 90s still. I mean, we're going to drop down this next weekend down in the 90s, back up close to 100, but then the week after it's still
No rain in that.
There's about a 30% chance of rain in about a week. The next weekend.
It's getting pretty crispy.
And the rains really, if anything, this time of year when we're in the El Nino period, so we're getting dry. And, heavy rain only makes matters worse for the fire departments. The vegetation is dry, it's not gonna come green. And once the rains and the winds dried out, after 1 or 2 days of wind, we're right back. They get the soil that's soft enough that the fire departments can't get their apparatus. So it has to be brought by hand, which is more time consuming.
What are you hearing from the various fire departments across the county?
They're ready. It's getting, I haven't heard from all of them. Do have some input, and the input that I have received is, when are we gonna do it? We're gonna email them and ask them.
They getting a lot of calls.
Yes, sir. We're at the point now, a lot of the fires, we go a lot by fire behavior. Fires right now haven't got enormously large in our part of the country. It's coming from the east, moving our way. And when you have to start calling your neighboring fire departments automatically upon getting dispatched out to a call, that indicates that fire behaviors are on the increase. More wild, I guess. I don't know if that answers the question,
But it does, because I know the guys are.
They're hopping.
They are.
They're hopping. And we're even having to go out and assist our neighboring counties, Hunt County and Van Zandt County specifically have called us several times in the last few days with some large fires that they've been receiving. To the east and to the south of us, we've had some counties that have had some significant fires, being the 20 acres plus. Of course, with our type of vegetation, The grass fires is our biggest concern. It's also the fastest moving cut fire. We don't have the problems like they do out West Texas with our underbrush and everything. We'll have hundreds of acres. But a 100-acre fire around here would be, it would be pretty big.
Any questions? Commissioner Allen makes a motion to,
They want to implement this?
Yes, sir. Next Bar Service allows for a period of up to 90 days. That can be rescinded upon the recommendation and the values that are presented by the Texas Bar Service. That can be rescinded in this time within that 90 days.
That's what we need to do.
have a motion on the floor from Commissioner Allen, we have a second.
Second.
Commissioner Phillips, seconds, discussion. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you, Randy.
Thank you.
Keep it so that I guess we'll get it on our website, hopefully the local media will be able to get it out as well. The signs that are around,
Each commissioner precinct has their own list of the state applied signs or on the state sign posts. You guys start calling those. A lot of them are already deployed. Some of them have been out there.
Kids are thinking
Oh,
about
sign
it
too.
too.
We've had sewer signs being stolen. I was going to approach it, about the possibility of ordering some more of those signs.
You do.
Yes, and also I've had some questions from the Gray Fire Department. About 8 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, we bought some of the yard signs. But I think those are real helpful. Very bright, I think they're very helpful. Over a period of time, the sun has bleached those out. We furnish those to each fire department, and they keep track of them, and they deploy them and pick them up their own. And there's a lot of them that are asking about those now, so I'll probably approach now about getting some of those there. I think they're probably going to be around $4 or $5 a piece.
Thank you very much. All right, I guess we'll move on to, I said John, here.
I'm sitting with that too. Go ahead.
Just
Thank you.
we'll just hold on to item number 9, be right here by the end of the meeting. Item number 11 is to discuss entering into temporary contract with the Humane Society of Cedar Creek Lake for animal shelters. I don't know whether there's anyone here from Cedar Creek Humane Society. Gentlemen, you have the proposed contract, and it looks like that read it as well as I can, that they're giving us 90-day notice of the contract, which would expire on October 31st, 2016. And at that point, if we continue with them, beginning November the 1st, we would start paying a flat rate of $11,500 change. It's a tough amount. Yeah, so what, Pam, why don't you come up and, I think we've got the 90 days that we're still dealing with them, and so that is there. Pam has been working with, and just kind of very quickly, we will know it, just so the court will know that there's some other activities going on. We maybe we able to find another shelter, perhaps.
I have a
temporary.
visit tomorrow with Ellis County SPCA. So when I call around and I'm looking maybe for floor plans or something like that, I explain to them what we're going through, the hard times. And they'll say, well, you know, if you call this person, maybe they can take your animals, or this person. So the state, on Friday when I visited with them, they said they call Ellis County. So I have a meeting with them tomorrow. And maybe we could take our animals there until we got something done. I don't know.
Or without our participation, you know, it's going to have to proceed.
I feel like without our participation, they would close down. But then that also, we've got to remember that's going to be Kaufman and all those other areas that take animals to them. If we build, we've got to build big enough to take all those animals. Or we should build big enough maybe to take all those animals in.
Because they were taking some animals, cities in the Barrett County too.
there's some possibilities of grants, possible, temporarily, or at least tentatively, I've put $250,000 in the budget to begin construction, hoping we'll get some other funds available, by an animal shelter that would be located at the jail. And that we would probably have a nonprofit organization run, it would be on our property. But that's not gonna happen overnight. I mean, that's something we do.
And there's definitely interest in the residents of Kaufman County and moving and having it here. This weekend, there was a conversation with someone whose dog had been put down early, and they were so upset, and why doesn't Kaufman County have one? They should build their own, so that was a good leeway for me to go into the possibility we might. And then on our Facebook page, it continued, people saying, we'll help you create a nonprofit, we'll volunteer, we'll do this, we'll do this. So there's interest out there.
So it's a discussion we've got to have. I mean, I don't think anybody wants to pay $10,000, $11,000 a month.
Now, Florida is building one, they only have 12 kennels, so they can hold 24 dogs. The state tells you how many animals you need to build for. And their cost tag is $2 million. And that's not the dog part, that's nothing. I went over Thursday evening and had a meeting with them, and that is just 12 kennels and 2 cat rooms for $2 million. So we don't have to have the Taj Mahal, but we also want to build something that we can drive. And that would work for the city, to live decent in front of it.
The one at Ellis County always seems a picture of it. It looks like something that would fit. We may not want to build it as big, but we want to build it so we can add on to it.
And that's the county road facility.
It's the SPCA, and so I want to learn more about how that works. You may decide the SPCA and the way they take the animals in and out of rescue. So I need to do a little more research.
The town has talked with a gentleman at the state level that's been very helpful on giving us information on how to really start from scratch, which is what we're doing. But we're kind of under the 8 ball to get it going. And I do believe once people, particularly some of the metal building people, once they see that we've got maybe some seed money, that they'll come in and help build it at a decent rate. Talk with the city. They have the issue about, it's got to have some stone on it or brick on it. And I think they will maybe work with us, not that it would be totally just a metal building, but at least the front would be a stone front or something, brick front to it. Brian, I don't know how involved you've been in this. I'd asked Sheriff Burns to.
Quite a bit, Judge.
I've asked Sheriff Burns and you to see if we could locate a place that would be accessible to utilities where we don't have to spend a lot of money getting utilities through this facility.
We found a location not up front because all of the stipulations of building on the highway.
Right.
It's going to be, I guess, if you're coming down the service road, the first entrance, not the second one there, everybody goes in. Down there in between, off in that wood set off back to the line. I think that'd be the best place for it.
It would be accessible, easily accessible. Accessible to the.
Most everybody goes to the jail by the second entrance, so that way we shouldn't get the traffic mixed up. We do it by the first, and then putting it off in the trees, back in there a little bit. We'd have to build it up a little bit. It's going to take quite a bit of dirt, so y'all are cleaning ditches. We decide to do this, we might have a place for you to bring some dirt.
Wouldn't be a bad idea to build that up anyway.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we can look at doing that because it's pretty low, so we're going to build it up, not all the way up to the roadway, but we're going to build it up here.
We have all that dirt when we come in from the pipeline, all these bottles, through all.
That might be a good place to do
There's
something.
somewhere to dump it.
Yeah.
I mean, the best thing is, when we did the parking lot, we had a place back here, and we just start stockpiling it back there, do what we got to do. It's going to take a lot of dirt.
We better done.
Oh, yeah.
And let me quickly add the folks at Cedar Creek Humane Society. They're volunteers. I mean, everybody that's on their board, and they're struggling. And we met with them the other day, Pam and I did, and I forget who else was there. And they're not bad people. They're just, I mean, they're struggling too about how to make that facility viable. And if you notice the the letter, they talk about partnering with us. And those decisions are on down the way, but I want to make sure everybody understands that, the Cedar Creek Humane Society, they served us well. We've griped about the cost, of course, and this $10,000, $11,000 a month is, that's going to be pretty, I mean, that's just, we couldn't do that. That's a lot, for no more, I mean, for the dogs that we use.
The most we paid this budget year is $6,115 for 82 dogs.
Yeah. We pay by the animal. And so, the other thing I think that would be a part of is the cities in the county that would want to participate in this, they would be charged for the animals they bring to the shelter as well, whatever that fee turns out to be. So we would have some income coming into it. But evidently the animal shelter business is a hot topic, you know, for everybody.
And we just need to remember, we're not gonna be in it to make money. That's the most important thing. We're in it because we need to pick up the animals, and then we want to try to rehome the animals. So, that's the main thing, is that we're not gonna be making money off of it. It's gonna be something that we're doing.
We don't have anything to make money. I don't know what you.
I just want to make that clear.
I'm trying to put that out.
So, the question is, the item is, whether we want to enter into this temporary contract with the Humane Society of Cedar Creek. The contract is good for 3 more months, or till whatever it is.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that ends on, yeah, but if we do approve a contract, it'd be a new contract, and, you know, I hope we can find an alternate, place.
We've been in several places, they're confusing.
Are you considering that letter the new contract? Because to me, that's just a letter of
No,
termination.
not at all, but it's a notification that they would have a new contract.
Okay. Yeah, then I mean, 'cause I haven't seen the new contract yet. So I
In
just want to
90
be
days
very
is what's
clear that that's not an action.
Right, we're just more or less notifying people, that this, you know, where we are on this thing. And the wording says entering into a temporary contract. I don't think we're that.
Is the other one up?
We don't have temporary.
We don't have, October 31st.
Yeah.
Under the old contract.
You've got 30 days before, it's like August 30th, to give notice.
Okay.
That, I think it has an automatic renewal on it. But they're saying they have notice to terminate this one because of the pricing, so I'm not really sure if that would apply. I would just be careful. I think you guys should probably make a decision about the next, whether or not to continue the contract so that they know, because they're asking you now to terminate, you either accept that or not. And then it would expire at the deadline. They're saying October 31st.
So what is your recommendation you do today?
It doesn't sound like you guys are, we don't have, okay, the agenda wording is to enter into a temporary contract, but there's not a temporary contract before the court, so the action item really doesn't have any action, it would just be a table.
Okay. And they will need to get us a contract.
We have to have some.
Yeah.
Which does. And that would be the new fee structure inside of it, because the old one that renews.
The old one goes to October 30th.
Yeah. But the way that the term is written, you have to give them 30 days notice that you don't intend to be a part of the contract prior to September 30th, so that's like August.
So we have to give them,
That's what need to be.
But they've
next
already,
September, we have to give them notice.
but see, they've already given us notice that they're not gonna continue the contract, so technically, we probably don't actually have to give them notice, because they're already saying that it's being canceled. Kind of goes in a circle, but there are just some time issues to be aware of.
We've got to do something.
The proper thing would be to accept their notice of termination, that way that they know they can search for additional funding if need be.
We can take it, let them get that straight,
Get it straightened out and then come back.
that will make them get it all straightened out.
All right, we have a motion from Commissioner Allen to table this item number 12, number 11, and Commissioner Shane seconds, Commissioner Phillips seconds the motion. Do we have any other discussion? We both got gray hair. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye.
gonna say there's only one non-problem here.
All righty, George, York, are you here? And George, come forward and discuss this migrating Tyler Odyssey to a software as a service or hosted environment.
So as we mentioned in our workshop, our goal is to simplify our operation, make it more predictable, make it more efficient, and create an environment where if there is a natural disaster, we can still work. We've done it with our tax collections, we have done that with our email, and this is simply another very important piece of software that will greatly simplify and make our life more predictable in the next 5 to 10 years. So, if you have any questions about it?
Were they able to verify the submission terms?
Well, by the way, our attorney has done her, has worked on it, and we've bought the records worth, and she likes it, I think. And the question was?
Subscription term? What
Okay.
was the duration?
So it's annual. The way it works is we pay per users, and there's a little latitude there. So as people are hired and let go and so on, we'll have +5, -5 possibly throughout the year. The way it works is we will simply go back to the way we did business from 1985 into 2004. And then what that would be is, if Laura Hughes hires 10 people, we're not going to do that during the budget year. We're going to do it during the budget process. So adding license becomes part of the budget process. So it's very predictable. And there's no surprise that we would, have to incur any big fee throughout the budget year. So to answer the question, what they do is audit twice a year. And if there's a substantial increase, then we would create an addendum which would go into effect the next budget year. Does that make sense?
Sort of. So the initial term limits that they outline are 5 years.
These are 5 years.
So I guess my main question is the subscription term, you're saying it's just 1 year.
Yeah, so
Even
it's
though
through
we're
the budget
locked in
year.
for
It's-
5?
Yes.
Yeah, it'd have to be, and next year we would, anything that we use in excess of what this first year is, would be applied to the second
Exactly.
year.
Exactly.
So it can change, and I guess what maybe you're asking is, if we're approving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, how do we adjust that? Is what she's saying legally, to make us,
If we streamline and consolidate our business and we cut 5 employees, our next budget cycle, we would reduce our fee by the number of folks that we cut.
What I'm trying to clarify is for termination purposes, if for some reason we're not happy with the services.
90 days.
Okay, every year.
And I believe that's in paragraph 11, is 90 days.
Okay, because the way it reads is 30 days before the end of the relevant subscription terms, and we have to give notice of non-renewal. So I just didn't know if that was the 5-year, because we're locked in price-wise for 4 years.
Right.
No, 5 years. And then for purposes of technology, that's great because we get a lower price for that longer term. But if for some reason our user rate went sky high, year 4 or 3 through 5, where it's actually based on the users, and we wanted to terminate because for some reason it wasn't in our budget, then we'd only have to give 30 days before every year that it renews, or is it 30 days before that 5 years? Okay, that's all.
So, you okay with
Yeah, with that, yes. I think that gives you enough time to make the budget considerations that you want.
Thank you, Rebecca. Other questions for George concerning this issue? Not, I'll entertain a motion to accept, to approve the recommendation. Commissioner Shane makes that motion, does have a second?
second,
Commissioner Phillips seconds the motion.
I'm sorry, I didn't get the second, and I have a question. This isn't a contract amendment that we're approving.
Yeah, we need the language of the motion to actually read, discuss, consider entering into a contract amendment with Tyler Odyssey to facilitate migration to a software as a service or hosted environment. The way it reads right now, it says approve migrating, it doesn't really say enter into a contract, so I want to make sure you're confirming that.
Yes, you like to repeat that.
Yeah.
You want me to
I
read
just
that?
repeated it.
Okay.
Everybody gets it.
And that's good with your motion, so the person that made the motion is good with that language, and the person that seconded the motion is good with that language too. Lord, you get what you need.
That just means Laura can't add the 10 new people, because we don't want to change the price. That's the simplest thing, and we just need to add that to the motion.
But George can lose people because he's gonna be so much easier.
Well, we've had, yeah, and that's, you're right. We can keep that flat. We don't have to ask the court for more help, more money. That's exactly right. I've learned a lot from these commissioners. So there was a time when commissioners had old equipment that was broke down half the time, and they had payroll working on it, and they had idle people on the side of the road. Then we had some new commissioners come around and say, hey, let's at least purchase some stuff. Let's have good quality equipment so we can put our guys out in the field and do this equipment. I think that's kind of what we're doing.
I think so.
Absolutely.
I was gonna say that.
Did we vote on that?
I've
got all three.
You got the order down.
Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed. All right, thank you very much. All righty, item number 13 is from purchasing agent Lisa Callahan to discuss and consider purchase of 2016 Chevrolet 3500 pickup equipped with a dump bed for road and bridge number 2 in the amount of $44,654 from Muster Motors, a local vendor. So, basically,
And I believe that should actually read $46,654.25.
612.
I was trying to get a Spartan, got a call on it. So this was brought forth by Commissioner Phillips. He's needing a new truck with a smaller dump bed. He says that the larger trucks, like on the buybacks and stuff, just didn't really suit his needs. And did you say you already had one that was getting worn, or did you say this was just more
Oh, they are, exactly.
more user-friendly? Well, we've checked into several avenues for purchase. We checked into the buy board, checked into Musters, a couple of different times as a matter of fact, and it looks like Musters come back with the best deal, being the lowest vendor within Kaufman County. It seems like would be the best option for this purchase.
Okay. Have questions or have a motion? Okay. Commissioner Bozolic makes a motion.
I'll second.
Second motion by Commissioner Phillips. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed. Item number 15. Before we get into 15, let's go back to item number 9. And we're going to have a special meeting next Monday, so let's table that until we can get with ITS and everything into that. We have a motion from Commissioner Allen and a second from Commissioner Phillips to second that, to delay that, table it to the next meeting. All in favor, say aye. All right. Next item is discuss a calendar for setting the tax rate and adoption of budget for fiscal year 2016-2017 and setting a budget workshop. As I had mentioned previously, we are going to have a special meeting. I think all of you were contacted to make sure you could be here or you received an email. We will have a special meeting next Monday, which will be the 16th. And part of that meeting, we will, after we finish with the regular part of the meeting, there will be a special meeting. We will have a budget workshop at the end of that. We finally did receive our final values from the appraisal district One of the main reasons we need to meet on the 15th, we have a letter from the tax assessor collector says that we need to approve the tax roll that she got from the appraisal district, and it has to be done by the 15th, so that's another reason. So if you have any other items that you would like to discuss at the 15th before we go into the budget workshop, you can get those to us pretty quick if you don't want to wait till the 22nd, and we can get those handled as well. Now, there is some notices. Angie has worked on a item, this last item where it calls for commissioners' court meetings and hearings to budget and adopt the rate. So there's 3 or 4 dates on here, and so one of them would be, these are meetings that we would, to meet the guideline to set our budget and to adopt our budget and set our tax rate. On Monday, August the 22nd, which is our regular meeting date, we will discuss the proposed tax rate for the 2016-17 budget and take a record vote, and to discuss and consider public hearing dates on the proposed tax rate. And those would be scheduled for September the 6th and September the 12th, and you see they're listed right below there. And then to discuss and consider setting a public hearing date on the proposed 2016-17 budget on September the 19th, which would be a special meeting of the court at 9 o'clock. And then you can see the various items that we will do on those dates. So we're going to be meeting quite a bit over the next month. As far as the tax rate is concerned, I don't believe we published that at this date. The tax rate, the M&O tax rate, I don't have the exact amount, but we'll have it next week. M&O tax rate will actually be lowered, and then the INS will actually increase, but when you add them both together, there is no increase in our maintenance and operation and road and bridge tax rate. They're the same. If you add them together, it's like they are this year, even though they're distributed a little differently. The only increase would be for the bonds that we will sell on the Monday, or there's a possibility, but I think we probably will come back and have a meeting on the next 9th, but we're going to recess the meeting on the 8th. You remember to let the First Southwest and the underwriters sell those bonds for us. And we don't know what that's going to be. The estimated amount for selling the remaining $26 million worth of bonds that we have to sell is 3.25%. The underwriters that, and particularly George Wilford and folks at First Southwest think that we're going to come in below 3%. And where we come in at, all we have to do is set the tax rate high enough to pay those bonds up. So we don't think it'll be, it'll probably be less than, well, I don't want to speculate, but it won't be the amount that's in the public's data, so.
And that's something that the voters approved.
This is something that the voters approved back in 2013. And again, the INS and INS and M&O there, again, you add those together, and they add up to the total amount that they're going to be distributed. There's more money going into, not INS, but road and bridge. There's more money going into road and bridge than less money. One of the things we're blessed by is the fact that we one of the things that's helped us, of course, is the prisoner contract. And each year we're trying to move more and more of that prisoner contract into one-time items. And like with all shelter, buying vehicles, that we don't have to depend on that money on a regular basis. We're not quite there yet, but we will be. So anyway, this is just more or less to make you aware of these. I don't think we need any approval. It's just so you'll have this on your calendar, and again, as when we meet next Monday, we'll recess probably move down to the table. We'll start re-looking at the budget, answering questions, and have any other adjustments that need to be made to the budget. The budget can be changed, we've got it posted, and it can be changed up until the day we actually adopt the budget. So, hopefully we get closer. Anybody got any questions? Okay. Yeah, good part of it.
Part of the plan.
Yep. All righty, item number 15 is to discuss and consider approving line item transfers.
Any questions on line item transfers?
Quite a few of them, I noticed.
Yeah, it's close to the end of the year, so we
Yes.
have to cover different things that we had to pay for.
Anybody have any questions on the line item transfers? Okay, do I have a motion to approve as recommended by the auditor? Commissioner Shane makes that motion. Do I have a second? Commissioner Allen seconds. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Those opposed? And then the last item on the agenda is adjourn the regular, pay the bill. Do that.
We need to pay those bills.
Claims for payment.
The claims for payment are $1,291,756.20. Your employee insurances were $493,000. The road materials for precincts 1, 3, and 4 were $289,000. Road bond expenditures were $75,000. Inmate housing and medical was $60,000, and that makes up most of the bulk, of that $1.2 million. And your professional services were sitting at $32,000 this time.
Any questions for the auditor on any payments? You want to explain a little further?
Now, I just noticed that our indigent lawyer fees were way down this time around. That's been a good trend this year. I think that's helped us a whole bunch.
Yeah, and if we're able to get this grant that we're asking for indigent defense condition on the ground law, that's $476,000. We've already paid for it. We'll know on that, I believe, on August 30th. Yes.
It depends on how she's set for deadline. I'll check it and see. Yeah. Yeah, we wouldn't write the check if we didn't have W-9.
I saw that.
Right. She might have, yeah, we got that covered.
Now, check.
One other question I've got, it looks like Purdue is raising, they're really doing us a good job of corrections of people out of what they're showing for each one of the precincts.
They have cleaned up a lot of the old stuff that was sitting there. That's probably gonna decrease because, depends on how well they,
But if you start cleaning it up, it helps the county, right?
It does.
yeah.
It's dead, it's not collectible, but, I mean, they have collected quite a few fees, that's why. They were gonna be here today, but they just couldn't make it.
They do work with our office pretty closely, and they actually send the reports to you. They verify that we've checked them and that we're in agreement, and that's good that they do that, because then that way we keep a current record and it's accurate.
Any other questions? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the claims for payment. Have Commissioner Shane makes that motion. To have a second. Commissioner Allen seconds the motion. All in favor? favor say aye. Those opposed? And then adjourn the regular meeting. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion, second.
Mr. Phillips and Commissioner Gonzalez seconds the motion. All in favor say aye. And reminder to everybody, we will have a special meeting this afternoon at 2 p.m. To discuss the enact on the ATS contract. So that'll be here this week.
I'll get you this house.
I wanted you guys to have a copy of it.
See, I think
On the 108.
You may do it today. How long will it take you to get ready?
Part of it, yes, sir. Right, instead of reassessing, it should be go back and rebate.
Well, I just figured I would check, just because I want to make sure that we're giving them the exact information.
I figured because we had sent it, thank you for looking at it.